Welcome back, everyone, to Sean's show. I'm here with Connor. I could not be happier that you are here spending time with me in the wonderful United States of America, or from wherever you're listening. If you don't know, the United States of America, we are a small country across the pond, just across the pond, off the coast of Britain and Ireland, and things are not going great. Things are not going that well for the United States, but we're pushing through it. I have faith. I have utter rock, steel, diamond level confidence in the United States government. And sometimes not, life isn't perfect. Life is not perfect. I tell this to people, that I go, sometimes when a country is around for long enough, sometimes it gets infiltrated by an international cabal of billionaire pedophiles. This is something that happens. It's like an STI. It's like an STD. It's like, hey man, you got chlamydia. It's not that big a deal. That's kind of like what they want. And by they, I mean the US government and the elites and the billionaires. They want us to they want Americans to just move on. That's what they really want us all to just move on. Did I rape a child? Yes. Let's move on. Can we move on? Can we move on? Let's move on. Hey, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. You don't like your father-in-law. Hey, it's like that's kind of the vibe of what they're trying to do. It's like, hey, happy holidays, by the way. It's like, hey, you were at the Thanksgiving party and you got in a shouting match with your father-in-law because he was a terrible father to your wife, and you were drunk and you fought him. No one's perfect. That's like the energy. Like, hey man, pick yourself up and move on. Relax. They want us to have that energy for the Epstein files. Like, hey, guys, sometimes you mess up. I messed up. I went to an island where they've kidnapped little girls, and we forcibly had sex with those little girls, and I'm the president. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes your leaders rape children. And this is something that we need to accept. We need to accept. And it's not just America. The United States is not the only country with this tiny, tiny little problem. It's a tiny problem. It's not that big of a problem. So the president had sex with a few children. That's not what about China? What about the threat of China? Okay? That's what economists do. Economists, when they're in a The Economist, they'll write an article. They'll be like, the president is a pedophile, but what we need to focus on is the threat of China and the industry and the neo-communist hyper energized communism is the real threat on the United States. But everyone has pedophile leaders. Rome. This is like a thing that goes back since the dawn of time. Rome, the guys in Rome, Rome is the Roman Catholic Church. That was like a theocracy. Rome, if I'm not mistaken, I probably am, but it was theocratic. It was a democracy, right? But it was people look at Rome like it was a democracy. It was a theocratic pedophile state, not unlike the United States. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening to Sean's show. We have lots to cover. That was the cold open. I don't know if I acknowledged, if you're watching and not just listening, we have a new light, a new backlight. This is the light from Epstein. This is the light that Epstein saw before he passed. So it's an angelic light, and the angels are coming down to drag me to hell. So we have lots to cover. Epstein, the government is open. Again, we have 50-year mortgages Breaking news. You want to buy a house? It's going to get easier. If you want to buy a house, I have great news. The government and the US, we are making it easier for you to buy a house. How are we doing that? Well, you're never going to own the house. You're going to own it so slowly that you're never going to own it. That's kind of what the 50-year mortgage is. The 50-year mortgage is like, hey, we understand there's an affordability crisis in America. We understand that it's impossible to buy a home. So what we're going to do, we hear you. What we're going to do is we're going to sell you 0.01% of a house every month for 50 years. Okay? And so by the end of 50 years, you're going to be dead and you won't have and you'll shut the fuck up. Okay? That's the strategy. They're like, if we make the mortgages 50-year mortgages, everyone that's complaining about housing affordability will be dead by the time the 50 years is over, and they'll have shut the fuck up, and we can get back to robbing the country. We can get back to How about that's what it is. The 50-year mortgage is shut the fuck up. You want to own a home so bad? Fine. We'll design a financially engineered product so you can slowly own a home. Asterisks around the word slowly. Never own a home. And everything's good. Everything is good. Everything is good in America. And we have a little video from CNBC kind of breaking down. I think you might have to hit play because they're going to show an ad first. Unless the ad already played. Let's find out. We are unsponsored. We'll let this ad roll for 30 seconds. Ooh, that's a hot guy. So Trump has pitched. Trump is a pedophile who also. This is going to be his obituary. Donald Trump, when he finally dies, which will be never. But Donald Trump, when he finally dies, his obituary will be Donald Trump was the 45th and the 47th president of the United States of America. He was a serial pedophile, and he also, on the bright side, made it even more impossible to buy a home and created the 50-year mortgage product. So let's listen to CNBC and let's see what the deets on this amazing new financial product. Let's take a look.
In an attempt to make home buying more affordable, President Trump floated this idea of a 50-year mortgage in a social media post. The purpose of a longer-term fixed-rate mortgage would be to lower the monthly payment for homeowners. The longer the term of the loan, the smaller the principal needed each month to pay it off in full.
Don't patronize. I know that, bitch. Don't fucking. I know that.
Home from September, $415,200, according to the realtors, and the current interest rate of about 6.3%, according to Mortgage News Daily. On a 30-year fixed loan with a 20% down payment, the monthly payment of just principal and interest would be $2,056. Now, if you raise the length to 50 years at the same interest rate, that payment would be $1,823, and that's a savings of $233 a month. Homeowners, however, wouldn't build equity as quickly, and that's because their principal payments would be smaller, and the amount of interest that they're paying to lenders would actually be 40% higher.
Oh, wow.
Homeowners could still gain equity
40%.
through home price appreciation, but home prices have been softening swiftly across the nation this year, with nowhere near the appreciation seen in the years before. Now, even realtors agree that the savings to homeowners would be minimal. Joel Berner, a senior economist at Realtor.com, said in a release, "This is not the best way to solve housing affordability. The administration would do better to reverse tariff-induced inflation, which is keeping the rates on existing mortgages high." The average age of a typical first-time buyer in 1991 was 28. By last year, it had reached 38, according to a new report from the National Association of Realtors.
That's crazy.
Whose deputy chief economist called the number, quote, shocking. Then there's the question of what's the mortgage rate? The average rate on the 15-year fixed mortgage is currently 66 basis points lower than the rate on the 30-year fixed. So this would kind of imply that the rate on the 50-year fixed would be higher. It all depends on investor demand for the product, of course. I spoke with Matt
as it always does.
Mortgage News Daily. He told me there is not currently a secondary market for these loans, nor would a robust secondary market be cultivated anytime soon. That means that in addition to the extremely low amount of principal paid down in earlier years of the loan, the interest rates would also be quite a bit higher than 30-year loans. He calls that a double whammy for those with any hope of building home equity. Graham also said that for all practical purposes, the loan would be more like an interest-only loan because very few people would keep a home for 50 years. The real question, though, is can Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac actually do this? Now, analysts say it's possible, but a 50-year mortgage does not currently meet the definition of what is called a qualified mortgage, and that's under the Dodd-Frank Act. It gives investors a backup from Fannie and Freddie.
Okay, you can pause.
Goes bad, as in.
I know that I just lost all my. You guys are all bored by that. Listening to a woman, you're like, I don't want to what. I just listened to a woman talk about finance for like 2 minutes. So what does all that mean? What does all of that mean? She said that the median age that a person buys a home or gets a mortgage went from 28 to 38. That's all you need to know. Those are the kinds of numbers that speak to the way our country is moving, okay? 28. Back in the day, I'm 29. I mean, back in the day, you know, you could be 28 and buy a home, get a mortgage. Think about that. Really think about that. You know, I don't know how long ago it was, but back when America was great, wink, I'm kidding. Back then, you could buy a home. The average age of buying a home was 28, and now it's 38. And let's be honest, pretty soon it's just going to be when your parents die. That's when you get the home. That's when you get the home, is when your parents die. Okay? And if you have parents that didn't get a home. So, here we go. President Roosevelt. I love, you know how you know someone's a fucking historian asshole is they call him Roosevelt. President Roosevelt, 30-year mortgage. Is this from Trump?
Yeah.
This is a True Social post from Trump?
Yeah, so apparently, I think one of the late night shows was talking about how someone just showed up. Sorry about that. My mic was muted. You heard me in the back. Yeah, so this is a True Social. Well, someone showed up with a poster board of this image. And then like an hour later, Trump was like, yeah, let's truth it. The image of Roosevelt, image of Trump.
So, okay. So, I mean, if you're just listening, we have Roosevelt and the 30-year mortgage and Trump on the 50-year. And, you know, anyone being proud of this is crazy. Being proud of like, where does this go? You know? I mean, it's a 50-year mortgage is a rent. You're renting. A 50-year mortgage, you guys, you can trust, when it comes to money, you can trust me. If you look at my nose, you can trust me, okay? I'm a man that knows money. I work in finance, okay? And the 50-year mortgage, the 50-year mortgage is being sold to you as if it's like, hey, we realize that housing is unaffordable, so what we're going to do is design a financial product that makes it better, that makes it easier for you to get into home ownership. That is not why the 50-year mortgage is being created. The real reason the 50-year mortgage is being created is because they want you to have debt. They want to create more debt because the financial industry operates on the sale of these products. The financial industry operates on the actual transacting and the creation of the mortgage. That is where the money is. The money is not in you slowly paying down a 50-year mortgage, $1,800 a month for 50 years. That is not what anyone gives a fuck about, okay? What they really care about is that you get a 50-year mortgage so that they can put it in a mortgage-backed security and repackage it and pass it around. And they all make money when they pass it around. You know, that is really that's really where we're going. You know, you look at, I mean, you want to know how I know that like the economy in the United States is absolutely fucked, is that people are taking out short-term loans to buy Chipotle burritos. Like, and this is not, I mean, they're literally doing like burrito-backed securities, okay? This is the type of shit that's happening. We have junk, trash. They're taking out loans to buy, like THC-infused THC-infused drinks. They're taking out payday loans. And then what Wall Street does is they take this shit, the 50-year mortgage, the burrito security, the Klarna loans, and they put them all in this, they put them all in a package, okay? And then that thing gets sold. We've all seen The Big Short, right? So that's how it works. That's why they're excited. That's why this is even being promoted in the first place. So we have, speaking of our president, I do want to talk. I think I opened with Epstein, but we have to talk about the emails, because the emails are insane. The latest trove of emails from Epstein and his associates, it's crazy. It's really crazy because, you read these emails and first of all, like they don't spell well at all. like they don't spell. They're like, what's so crazy about the Epstein emails and the contrast is crazy because it'll be like the most sickening sentence you've ever read in your whole life. It'll be like Trump knows about the girls. And like really sinister shit. Like billionaire pedophiles talking about their crimes casually in email, send her to the island. Let Trump hang himself. And then you keep reading, and then it says, sent from my iPad. It's like, okay. it's like, that's like the kind of shit that reminds you that like these people are like fucking stupid. They're like idiotic. Like I don't know how they just got all this wealth because they're like absolute idiots. And they say shit like, let Trump hang himself. Sent from my iPad. Sent from my iPhone. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on, and then their email. It's like, it's crazy to be over email plotting and trafficking little girls. And then in your email signature, say, follow me on Twitter. Hey, follow my Twitter account. Check out my Twitter. So let's dive into some of these emails. Honestly, whatever comes to whatever looks good. This is from the New York Times. So we have Epstein to Ghislaine. And let's take a look at this one. Can we punch in a little bit? My eyes are failing me. So here's the big one. Could you scroll up just to set this up? So we have, so this is from Jeff to Ghislaine. She goes by Gmax. Gmax, I mean, what are these, Xbox? Gmax sounds like a Call of Duty gamer tag. I want you to realize, and this is the big headline one that everyone's talking about. Jeff goes, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim, redacted, spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, Chief Keef, etc. I'm 75% there. Now, I mean, is every billionaire just on drugs 24/7? Because I can't even decipher this. Has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. What does that even, by the police chief? I mean, I get they're talking in shorthand. What does he mean by I'm 75% there? Does that mean he's like almost about to come? Is that Jeff about, Is that Jeff about to come, or is that Jeff about to kill himself? And yeah, so it's stuff like this where, you know, the Republicans are calling it a distraction because the Democrats fucked up on the government shutdown. And, you know, there may be something to that in terms of the timing of these emails. I'm not going to say that because I think that, like, maybe the timing of these emails is to distract us. It's all a distraction. And that's the thing. Like, even I get caught up in it, you guys. Like, when I talk about this stuff, when I talk about the shutdown, you talk about Jeffrey Epstein, it's really all, it's really just all a distraction from the daily economic gouging that is just happening. All this stuff is designed to gouge, is to distract. All this stuff is designed to, you know, make like get you caught up in the drama. And I'm not that guy. I'm not going to get caught up in the drama. I'm not. Okay? You know what I'm doing? I'm learning Mandarin. I'm learning Mandarin, and I'm moving to a real country. I'm moving to China. I'm packing up everything I love, you know, and my family and I, we are going to China. We're going to a real city. We're going to Guangzhou, or we'll go to Shenzhen. We will go to one of the many wonderful cities in China, and we will move on from this. We will move on, because say what you will about China, at least China may be communist, but at least their leadership isn't a bunch of pedophiles, to my knowledge. Maybe there's something about capitalism that just creates an incentive. Capitalism creates incentives that reward pedophiles. Kind of. It creates a world where if the less morals you have, the more you win. And it took me a while to really realize that, but in capitalism, the less morals you have, the less empathy you have, the more you win. And the sad part about it is that when you and I am a capitalist, by the way, to some extent. Everything is a spectrum, you know, except for gender. When you have you know, it's, I mean, I'm even realizing it now, like, you know, it's like the more of a blind eye you turn on the ethics of what you're doing and the actual impact that you're having on the world, the choices you make, and you just focus on money, you can really, that is the people that win. That is the people that win. So it really shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that the people at the top are billionaire pedophile rapists. Like, that's just, it shouldn't surprise you, because that's what this system we made together, not together, but that's what the system that's been created, that's what gets rewarded. Okay? And that also gives me a lot of hope for this show not doing well, is it means that I have ethics. Okay? So the moment that the show starts to do well, you know that I've sold out to Israel, just so you know. You know, I don't know. There's so much more on Epstein, but like, it's really, you know, it's just like, meh. It is important. Like a month ago, I was screaming. I was like, we can't stop talking about this until it's over. But now I am kind of like, I'm kind of bored. Yeah. Everyone's dead. It's like it's like Sharon Tate. It's like the murder of Sharon Tate, and you know, I just watched a movie yesterday. It's called Chinatown by Roman Polanski. It's like that. It's like when Roman Polanski you know, was involved, I think, in Sharon Tate was pregnant, and then she got murdered by, that was the Manson. I think it was the Manson family killings. Marilyn Manson, who, you know, hung out, who was also, I think, a pedophile, killed Sharon Tate. And I'm sure at that time, everyone was like, this is a crazy conspiracy, and we need to, you know, figure out, like, what's going on with this. And and we moved on. Okay? And the unfortunate fact of it all is, you guys, ladies and gentlemen, we do have to move on. And they know that. And it's very sad. It's very sad, but just like we moved on from Sharon Tate's murder of a beautiful pregnant actress by the CIA, as we all know, it shocked America. And just like that, the Epstein files shock and disgust Americans. But unfortunately, we have to make the burritos. We have to keep making. I need you to go make more burritos. It's sad. It's sad. I mean, just imagine that you're like an average American. You're working at Chipotle, and you see this shit come out about the leaders of America, and then your boss is like, get back to work. Get back to making the burritos. Hey, I know the billionaires. I know the president is a pedophile. We have 4 carne asada burritos that were DoorDashed that are on the ticket right now. So I need you to go ahead and make those, okay? I need you to go ahead and make the burritos, okay? Is one of them going to the staffers that helped cover up Jeffrey Epstein? Yes. I need you to make them. Like that's if you make burrito bowls in DC at Chipotle, you read all this shit about the leaders and you're making the burritos, and the burritos are being financed. The whole world it can feel like the whole world's against you. But I would ask you this. If you're feeling hopeless, remember that you can always make content. You can always do what I'm doing, which is making content. You can always post more often on TikTok. Post on TikTok. Post on Instagram. The world needs to see every little tiny dimension of your life. Put it out there for everyone to consume and laugh at you or be jealous of you or all the above. That is the only honest way to make a living anymore. The only honest way to make a living anymore is to make content. Okay? It really is. Oh, you're a doctor? I've always thought this. And here's how you know I'm very arrogant. I feel like if I shadowed a doctor for like a year, I could be a doctor. You know what I mean? I feel like anyone who's interested in that stuff, I feel like you can hang out with a doctor for a year and just kind of pick it up. This is my grand conspiracy. My grand conspiracy about medicine is that, like, being a doctor, first of all, I think nurses do most of the work. First of all, I think nurses are the real doctors. They're the ones, like, cleaning the shit out of the patient's asshole. Whenever I see a doctor, doctors act like these, like, hot shots on Wall Street where they come in for, like, 12 minutes. That is what's wrong with healthcare in America, is that we pay doctors so much fucking money that they think that they're hedge fund managers, where they come into a room and they want to go bam, 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 bam. And in reality, it's like, hey, you can slow down. I have heart disease. And the doctors come in and they're like, okay, like, they're always on edge and they're always, like, super wired. And the reason that they're super wired and the reason they're super on edge is because we have an artificial supply. Where are my economists? Supply. What's the word? Constraint? Supply deficit? What's the word? What's the opposite of a surplus? Like a shortage, right? A shortage. So and it's on purpose. I feel like this is my crazy conspiracy. I think we have an artificially limited supply of doctors because the doctors don't want there to be more competition, because then they're not going to get paid as much. You understand? You pick up what I'm putting down? There's a whole medicine industrial complex to make it so that if you want to be a doctor, you got to go to school. You have to take a 30-year mortgage, 50-year school. You have to go to school until your late 30s or however it is. You have to go to school until you're like 30 years old, and then you can start practicing medicine. And I have a theory that anyone can learn to be a doctor in like 4 years. I think that anyone who like puts their heart into it, anyone can do it. Doctors, you are not. This guy is a doctor. He's not that smart. I even know what that is already. Look at that. The heart, is that a stethoscope? That's a I think that's a stethoscope. I know. I think if you drop me into a medical office, maybe I have an ego. Maybe this is crazy. Maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you're like, oh, Sean, my dad is a doctor and he always worked really hard. He's really smartest guy I know. Hey, maybe your dad's actually not that smart. Maybe it's an institution just like anything else. The idea that these elite people are more intelligent than you it's absurd. The idea that these elite people have elite jobs, like being a doctor, being on Wall Street, they are not smarter than you. They're not sharp, okay? All they have is they were born into a world where they could get that job. They were born into a situation where that job was available to them. Do you understand? And so I think, like, yes, some doctors are very highly specialized, like brains. Honestly, I think I could do brain surgery. I truly think I could go in. I think if I watched, this is crazy, but it's true. I think this is how massive my ego is. I think if I watched brain surgery 10 times, I think I could do the 11. I think I'd get pretty close on the 11th. I think I get pretty close on number 11. I think if you show me a brain surgery, like extracting a brain tumor from the neocortex, see, I even know the types of sections. If you had a surgery and you said, Sean, this person, his amygdala is enlarged, we need to operate. I'd say the amygdala must be removed, which is like a lobotomy, basically. Basically, I think I could do a lobotomy. I could do, and that is actually, here's the thing. Doctors, they pretend like they're these hyper smart, intelligent, elite people, and you could never be a doctor. I'm a doctor. You know? I went to school for 12 years to be a doctor. I don't care what you did for 12 years. I don't care. Oh yeah? I jacked off for 12 years in the library at my college. By the way, that doesn't make me a sick man. Okay, it was the single stalls. I'm going to be honest here. I already said it. I can't take it back. When I was in college, I would be the only guy in the library at my college. All right? I'll be the only guy in the library. It'd be like 3 a.m. I'd be studying for like an aerospace engineering final exam. And did I rub one out in the single, you know what I'm talking, it's not a stall. I was not rubbing one out in a stall. Okay, that is wrong. And I will not do that. I'm not sick. It was the ones where you go in the bathroom and it's just a room. You know, at Starbucks? You go into the bathroom at Starbucks and it's just for you. That's the kind of bathroom I'm talking about. Did I rub one out once? Yes. Okay. It was 3 a.m. I was stressed out and I did do that. And did I clean up afterwards? Of course I did. Does that make me a pedophile? I don't think so. Now, my point was that, you know, anyone with any level of intelligence, you could walk around with a doctor. You shadow a doctor for like a day. I think I could do it like a half day. I think I could shadow a doctor for like 4 hours and be like, I get this. I think I could shadow a doctor for like 10, 20 minutes, and then I could put on the fucking speculum or whatever it is. I think I could do the fucking job. I think I wouldn't even need training. Put me in. And I'll do it for $200K. And that's why you put me in. Is because I'll do it for $200K. This fucking asshole charges you $500,000 a year for him to deny you coverage for your fucking chemotherapy. Okay? That's what they do. Doctors get paid $500,000 a year to explain why your insurance rejected the chemotherapy treatment plan. It's out of network. I'm sorry. Your life, that's what they go. You go, I think I have, they go, doctors will go, you have pancreatic cancer. I'm really sorry. The chemotherapy that you need to survive is out of network. Your life is, unfortunately, your life was phased out of the network. Unfortunately, your life was phased out of the Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance plan. We've actually phased your life and your health out of the network. So what's left is I get a Rolex. So I actually, people don't talk enough about how selfish doctors are. Doctors are very selfish. Doctors, you think, doctors are not like these empathetic humanitarians. A lot of doctors are selfish, elitist pricks. Okay? And they have massive egos. Nurses, they have hearts of gold. My mom, God bless her, she's a nurse, retired nurse. Okay? Nurses are like the victims of Epstein. And then the doctors are like Epstein. That's basically the dynamic. No, whatever issue you want to talk about, there are so many problems. There are so many problems with every issue you want. Like, healthcare's fucked. The economy is fucked. The government reopened. The Democrats caved. Everyone's a pedophile. And my SoundCloud gets no listeners. Okay? My SoundCloud is at 0 downloads. Let's talk about let's get some live updates on the shutdown. So I guess the government is reopened finally. Nothing will make me angry. Nothing makes me angrier than seeing a bunch of politicians applaud themselves. It angers me to no end to see politicians that wake up every day and their entire MO is to fuck you. Nothing pisses me off more than seeing these sons of bitches go, aren't we great, guys? We're pretty great. We're really great. We're great. Woo! On the bright side, Nancy Pelosi is retiring in 2027. That's pretty much the only good news this week is that Nancy Pelosi is retiring. Now, I think there's a video that she made, a retirement announcement video. Let's watch it because I think this is something that a lot of people, it's not on the sheet, but we need to watch this because I have the hiccups, guys. I got too passionate. I'm really sorry. A lot of people are like, this is the problem with America. Okay? This is from Nancy Pelosi. Let's take a little look. Guys, obviously I'm joking. Obviously I have a lot of respect for Nancy. I love Nancy. She was one of the greatest senators, representatives in modern political history. And I'm very sad that she's going away. Let's hit it. You can't live there. Can you pause it? Can you go back to the houses? Go back to the houses. You will never live there. Hey, by the way, Nancy Pelosi in her goodbye video, it's like B-roll of homes that she helped make unaffordable forever. It's B-roll of homes that cost $6 million because her entire career was insider trading tech stocks and sucking technology executives' penises. B-roll of homes that are $5 to $10 million. By the way, you want that home? You want that home in San Francisco? These homes you don't get with a 50-year mortgage. You want these homes, it's going to cost something a little more than a 50-year mortgage, okay? It's called your life. It's called adrenochrome, okay? You want a home in SF that looks like that? It's called giving your child's adrenochrome to Nancy Pelosi, okay? That's a joke. It's a joke. Okay. Let's keep going.
The most beautiful, remarkable place on earth.
She hates the Chinese,
but the
probably.
true magic of San Francisco, the San Franciscans. There's a reason why our city has always been synonymous with.
She goes, but the true magic of San Francisco is the San Franciscans. And then it just shows a guy overdosing on fentanyl. It cuts to like, she's like, the true magic of San Francisco is the San Franciscans. And then it's just some Salesforce executive just hitting his girlfriend. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Fuck. That's what San Francisco is. It's a bunch of ex-frat bros that work at Salesforce that rape and fentanyl-addicted people. Now, the true magic of San Francisco, it's actually not the true magic of San Francisco is despite the San Franciscans. The true magic of San Francisco is despite Nancy Pelosi and her bitch policies. Bitch policies. I don't know. Her, she's really, Nancy Pelosi is a physical manifestation of the hollowing out of the values that the United States purports to have. That was a banger sentence. Let me say it again. Nancy Pelosi is the physical manifestation of the decrepit, decaying morality of the United States. She is a hollow shell who exists only to make markets more efficient, which is what she's doing, by the way. Whenever someone comes at me and they go, Nancy Pelosi's a bitch, she insider trades, she betrayed her constituents, I go, insider trading makes markets more efficient. How dare you? Insider trading helps lower the bid-ask spread. But you don't even know about what that is. Okay. Don't come talking to me about Nancy Pelosi insider trades if you don't know what a bid-ask spread is, okay, on a call option. What Nancy Pelosi did for the financial markets is wonderful. She helped. She was helping. By making trades and then enacting policy that affected the trades that she was making, that's called entrepreneurship. That is not insider trading. That's not insider trading. It's called entrepreneurship. There's no better career that's more profitable than becoming a senator, joining a committee, and then investing in companies that your committee influences, and then making legal decisions and voting for laws that make sure your companies profit from those decisions. That is the apex of American entrepreneurship, and I'm so proud that Nancy Pelosi did that for her entire career. It's just an amazing time to be alive, where our politicians have biblical levels of greed. Nancy Pelosi makes the Bible look like reasonable. Like, you read about the stories in the Bible, and it's like, oh, I'll sell my son for gold. Nancy Pelosi is like, I'll sell out the entire country so I can make an extra $10 million on NVIDIA stock. Let's keep watching because I love her. I love her.
The future. Here we don't fear the future, we forge it. From the gold rush to the miracles of science and technology,
I made money on it all. I made money on it all.
Buzzing with optimism and creativity. We are a vibrant and diverse city, home to hardworking families, diligent students, and heroic veterans.
And evil cunts like you.
Of entrepreneurs and immigrants. From Chinatown to Japantown.
You don't like immigrants.
From Mission to the Fillmore. From Hunters Point to the Castro, North Beach to the Sunset.
I own it all.
We're also
I own it all.
experiencing more than our fair share of challenge. When the Loma Prieta earthquake struck, we brought in federal support that ensured we would not just recover, but reimagine the south of Market neighborhood.
Can you pause it again?
And of course,
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Nancy Pelosi had future knowledge of the Loma Prieta earthquake. That's like how Nancy Pelosi is so good at insider trading now. She probably just sees the future. Like that's the only way to explain how much money she's made on the stock market is that she's psychic. Nancy Pelosi is a psychic. Here's the thing with Nancy Pelosi. Either she spent her entire career committing insider trading and betraying average Americans and creating and voting on legislation that benefited her, and she's a selfish, evil bitch. Or, which is what I believe, this is what I believe, she's a psychic. She's actually like super into astrology. Nancy Pelosi, a lot of people don't know this, in her closet, she has like a divination board and like little dolls. You know, she's like a witch, but in like a cool witch, like a Bushwick, like a Brooklyn witch. You know what I mean? And she has like little dolls that she manipulates. And that's how she makes her money on the stock market. Okay. She doesn't vote on legislation that helps her out. She's a good person. She just wouldn't do that. I know her. Nancy, she wouldn't do that. Nancy Pelosi, she wouldn't make money. And by the way, God forbid Nancy Pelosi have a little emotion. God forbid one of our leading senators have a little emotion. Or is she in the House? I don't even know. It doesn't really matter. The difference between the House and the Senate is, nothing. I'm pretty sure she's a senator, but it's very sad. I'm very sad that she's retiring. Her retirement's very sad. It tugs at my little heartstrings because now I'm no longer able to copy trade her. Okay. That is the sad part about Nancy Pelosi retiring is I'm no longer going to be able to copy her trades and make money. Who am I going to copy now that Nancy Pelosi's gone? Oh wait, great news. If you're worried that Nancy Pelosi's retirement is going to affect your investment portfolio because you can't insider trade alongside her, I have great news. Every senator does it. So it's all good. Guess what? The cool thing about Nancy Pelosi retiring is she created a legacy. Nancy Pelosi, her retirement coming up, it makes me think about her legacy. And if I could summarize it in a few words, I would say that fundamentally, Nancy Pelosi, she was served in the House since 1987 and represented the great city of San Francisco. And I would just say that, like, one thing I learned from Nancy Pelosi is that, like, live your life in a way where you always have the leverage. That it makes me really feel warm inside to think about like what Nancy Pelosi taught me. Nancy Pelosi taught me a lot of stuff. She taught me always have the high ground. She taught me never interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake. Nancy Pelosi taught me, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Nancy Pelosi taught me that when your enemy's back is turned, you stab him in the back and you slit his throat. Okay? And power, Nancy Pelosi taught me a very important lesson. Power is currency. Money is not money. Power is money. Sex is money. Earthquakes can be manufactured. Nancy Pelosi, her legacy was that she created the Loma. That's my new conspiracy. I want to get that out there. Everyone listening, we're starting a new conspiracy. Our new conspiracy is that Nancy Pelosi created the Loma Prieta earthquake. And she designed it, like Bush did 9/11. Nancy Pelosi did the Loma Prieta earthquake, and somehow I bet she made money off it. Somehow I bet Nancy Pelosi was involved and invested in the contractors that helped rebuild San Francisco after that earthquake. Okay? That's probably not true, but I'm going to just imagine that it is. It's probably not. I love her. Let's watch the video because I'm getting choked up, you know? I'm getting choked up.
HIV/AIDS tested our city to its core. But out of our agony came action. Under the leadership of UCSF and San Francisco General, we pioneered comprehensive community-based care, prevention, and research. That very system served as a model as we wrote the Ryan White Care Act, which still ensures access to life-saving medical care nationwide.
If you're rich.
Fittingly, our city is home to the National AIDS Memorial Grove, a place of renewal where we remember the loved ones we lost. For decades, I've cherished the privilege of
historically, and it only makes sense that we San Francisco, we led development of a cure to AIDS and access to life-saving drugs, and it only makes sense that we have the National AIDS Memorial Park where there's some fentanyl use in the park, but we're working on it. We're working on, now you can go to the AIDS Memorial Park and you can actually contract HIV because everyone in San Francisco, because of my policies that I created, I've forced so many people into homelessness that they got depressed and they started abusing drugs. And so it's just so wonderful to look out at the AIDS Memorial Park and to see all those people getting AIDS. She's an evil bitch. She isn't. I don't feel bad saying that at all. She's an evil bitch. Let's keep listening. I love her though. She's my favorite evil bitch.
Representing our magnificent city in the United States Congress. It seems prophetic now that the slogan of my very first campaign in 1987 was
safety for white
voice
people
that will be heard. And it was you who made those words come true. It was the faith that you had placed in me and the latitude that you had given me that enabled me to shatter the marble ceiling and be the first woman Speaker of the House.
And become the greatest investor of all time.
It was an historic moment for our country, and it was momentous for our community, empowering me to bring home billions of dollars
to my personal portfolio.
With these resources, we have powered enormous progress.
Wrong.
For healthcare.
No.
From the fight against HIV/AIDS to the Affordable Care Act. For transportation, extending BART, electrifying Caltrain, creating the 3rd Street Light Rail and the Central Subway, and strengthening our iconic Golden Gate Bridge, all creating good-paying jobs. For housing, enabling nonprofits to build affordable, low-income, community-based housing with the low-income housing tax credit. For the environment, from protecting clean air and water.
When she goes, we empowered nonprofits to create community-based, low-income, like it's treated like she had to do 8 takes. She was doing the monologue, and when she got to the part where she was like, we empowered nonprofits to create low-income charity. She can't even say the words low income or immigrant because it makes her blood boil. So, and she's so, she's just so fake. She's so fake in the way that she talks. I helped solve AIDS. I made BART. Have you been on BART? BART is like trash. It's like the train. I've been on BART. It comes like once every hour. Maybe they've improved it since I lived there. But the BART that I remember when I was growing up, bad, trash, okay? Scary. Nancy Pelosi, you made public transportation scary, okay? And I take the fucking subway. The subway in New York is less scary. The subway is great. Strengthening the goal. So she's trying to list. It's funny to hear Nancy Pelosi try to list all of her accolades and achievements and gloss over her biggest achievement, which was an internal rate of return of 180 million% a year for 20 years. She was a better investor than Warren Buffett on a return basis, not about the amount of capital. Look at Nancy Pelosi's annual rate of return. Can we look that up? Can we look up Nancy Pelosi annual rate of return? This is why you listen to the financial comedian, because I know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's got to be. This is. Oh, let's do that article. Incredible. Okay, so we just watched like Nancy Pelosi's retirement video, and she glossed over the fact that this is her biggest achievement. Nancy Pelosi posted up a staggering, listen to this, 16,930% return on investment, beating the market by 581%. Crazy. And we're just supposed to just, that's just something that she did that. People and this is the theme for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Like, it's the politicians, they do shit like that, and they just want you to move on. Just move on. Just give me my burrito. Hey, you're in the government, but you made a 16,000% return on companies that you voted on legislation for. Isn't that clearly corruption? And Nancy will go, just make me my burrito. She'd go, I cured AIDS. If you ask Nancy, if you go, Nancy, aren't you insider trading? Aren't you ashamed that you insider traded your whole career? Hey, motherfucker, I cured AIDS. So I'm allowed to insider trade. You know what? And maybe she's right. Maybe if I'm being real, maybe if you cure AIDS, you're allowed to insider trade. I will say that's not a bad trade. Talk about stock trades. That's not a bad trade. She did help fight HIV. She did do that. So maybe we should cut her a little slack. Let's cut her a little slack. And you know what? Let's cut everyone a little bit of slack. Cut your friends a little slack. That would be my message to you guys. Let's have a little bit of empathy for each other. And I know that after this whole episode, you're thinking, well, how am I supposed to have empathy for anyone? I can't trust anyone. Everyone I know is a secret billionaire pedophile or worse, an insider trader. And I want you to just step back and remember, no one's perfect, and we all just need a little bit of grace sometimes. So if you find out your friend is committing fraud, credit card fraud, if you find out your wife, has been cheating on you with your best friend, give people in your life a little bit of grace. If your wife comes home and she goes, I've been fucking Dave, he's a way better fuck than you, he's been blowing my back out every night, I stop by his apartment before I come home from work, I hate you, I'm taking the kids. It's time for you to give, go say, okay, baby. Give her a little grace. Go, look, I understand. I get it. Here's the kids. And then what I want you to do is I want you to go to callshe.com. Callshe.com. And I want you to bet. I want you to make a bet with your last dollar. I want you to make a bet that the pedophile evidence will be released by our government. Because that is the most American thing you can do, is go on a website and make a bet that the government releases evidence about a billionaire pedophile who did not kill himself. And I want you to bet that they will not release it. That is the most American thing you can do, is go on callshe.com. We are not a sponsor. Go to callshe.com. Find the market that says, will the government release the Epstein files by the end of the year? And I want you to bet no. And you will make money, okay? Making money is easy. So that's what I want you to do. I never really thought, can we pull this up? We'll end with this. Can we pull up Callshe? Just type in callshe.com. And we will find one of the most insane things I've ever seen, probably in my life. It's KALSHI. Probably one of the most insane markets I've ever seen in my entire life, where, you can bet on Callshe. Callshe's this new market website. People call it, here's the funny thing. Let me back up. Callshe is this new website, and they will call it an investing platform. Really, it's a gambling platform. They'll say you can go invest your money. Now, to me, an investment isn't a market that bets on whether or not evidence of pedophile billionaires gets released. To me, that's not an investment. That's a gamble. Okay? And so, we have it right here. So this is where we're at. This is like what capitalism is. Let's take a look. This is from Kalshi. And by the way, there's a lot of comedy podcasts that have taken Kalshi's money. And if you did, you're a sick fuck. Taking money from this company makes you a sick fuck. Every big podcast out there, they're all like, we're sponsored by Kalshi. How do you not look at this as a comedian and go, what the actual fuck? But let's read this market. So this is something you can invest in. That would be, you want some investing advice? This is Sean's investment corner. Will the House pass a bill to release the Epstein files this year? That's an 88% chance of it going yes. Now, if you told me years ago that in 2025, I would be able to bet my money on whether the government released evidence related to a billionaire pedophile in the future, I would look at you and I would say, wow, is there another one where I can bet that he's going to be the president? Because that's the market I would bet on. I don't want these like, are the Epstein files going to be released? I want interesting bets. I'm going to be like, is Jeffrey Epstein alive? That's the bet. I'm going to make a competitor to Kalshi and all these new betting markets like Kalshi, Polymarket. I'm making my own, and it's going to be fun bets. It's going to be fun, entertaining stuff like, is Jeffrey Epstein alive? That is what I want to make an investment in. Invest your money with me. I put it into Kalshi. Most of it goes to fentanyl sales, but some of it I put into Kalshi, and we make fun bets. So, yeah, that's where we are in America, guys. We are doing okay. I would say after everything that I've talked about today, I would say in summary that things are good and they're going to get better. So we have a lot to look forward to. Guys, that is our show. We're going to continue the show on the Sean Show Patreon for this week. If you want, I have an extra bonus episode that comes out every week. In the description is the link where you can sign up. It's only $5 a month, which comes out to $1.25 per bonus episode. Now, that is a pretty damn good deal if you ask me. I will be talking about Alex Karp. I will be talking about Palantir. Maybe I'll even shit on doctors some more. We're going to keep it rolling, guys. So if you're still listening to my voice right now, I would urge you to follow the show on Spotify, like the show on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, comment on YouTube, and do all that stuff. I know I say it and you just go, oh boy, here we go. But do it, please, because it helps grow the show. I'm running the show at a tremendous loss, and the sooner you give me money, the sooner I can make this into an empire that eventually fails. Okay? So that's the show. Thank you to Connor for joining us and running the ship. And we will see you on the Patreon. Bye. Nice, man.